Thomas! It's up for grabs now!
Magic ball from Bergkamp to Patrick Vieira!
Oh, would you believe it? Oh, right, what a way to get it!
Fabulous solo goal by Tierney. Champions.
Good evening. Welcome to the Arsenal Lounge. This is FanCam on a Friday. We thought we'd bring this back, and I'm very, very happy to announce a guest that we've had on for a number of occasions, and I'm glad to have him back. African Gooner, how you doing, bro?
I'm doing well. How are you?
And yeah, it seems like it's been ages. I mean, I've taken a couple of weeks out. You've taken a couple of months out. So it'd be good to catch up and see what you think what's been happening. As we were saying offline a couple of minutes ago, it's a nicer place to be at the moment. How long that will last, I don't know. But what do you make of what you've been seeing over these last couple of months? I'd like to catch up with you, bro.
Yeah, 100%. To be quite honest, going into games with not much expectations, I think that, to be quite honest, Arteta is getting it he's getting it right more often than not right now. And I think there's been a real wake-up call with Nicolas Pepe, with Willian. I think they've understood finally, whether it's in training, whether it's because they've been left out of match day games, not coming on, they're seeing Saka perform. They're seeing Smith Rowe and Odegaard just coming in and really changing. And I'll touch upon Odegaard in a second. But I think the whole team has really had a wake-up call and has realized that, Arteta's not going to accept crap, right? If you're not performing the way he wants you to perform, Saka's going to start every game. Smith Rowe's going to start every game. Or, the club is just going to get rid of you, as you've seen, Mustafi gone, Kolasinac gone, those guys all gone. And they all went at the same time, which also, indicates to me that, they had a little clique and crew going on over there. So, no, things are looking on the up for Arsenal. As you said, we're always one game away from disaster, that's Arsenal. So I'm really hoping that we are able to have revenge on Olympiakos. I'm kind of scared, to be honest, because, we know how we are. We might just show up and not perform or not hit like our gear, until the second half, and the game might be over even before the second half. And, just going to be interested to see what Arteta does with Aubameyang, because I've said it many, many times, and when we've done our predicted lineups, Aubameyang is a striker, man, and you're seeing him score goals. And Lacazette has been really, really good. So we have a lot of problems in our front four because all our players are performing right now. And, that's great to see, to be honest. And I wanted to just quickly touch upon Odegaard. I think that people are not understanding how good this kid is, man. And really, if you watch him, I think he's like Ozil, really, the pre-assist. It's the assist before the actual assist. He's making those key passes, and his mobility is what I really, really love. We haven't had someone like that in our midfield that is light on the ball, can just touch the ball, move around. It's just so light and has such technical ability. It reminds me of Santi Cazorla. Definitely not as talented as him, but, really small, light on the ball, can make a turn, just, take a player out of the game and make that, killer pass, and he's been doing that over the last few games. And let's be honest, he's been starting a lot of our games, and we have bbeen winning since he starts our games, regardless of if Jock has been playing well or whatever else.
That's a good point, African, because I don't think everyone's really noticing. At the moment, he's just bedding himself in. And you could see on the ball, and there's a lot more to come from him. There's a few things he's tried that hasn't quite come off, but you can see what he's trying to do. And I think the more understanding he gains with a front three, the better he'll become. Okay, we're not seeing 100% the best of him yet, but then again, look what happened the other day. Emile Smith Rowe come off. He's obviously tired. He's obviously been struggling. Before we would have had to try and crowbar Willian in. Crowbar Pepe in there or someone, it wouldn't have worked. Everyone would have got on, say, Willian's back, for example, who's trying and fighting for confidence himself. Well, for once, we got like for likes. So, Willian can play where he usually plays. Pepe can play where he usually plays. Emile Smith Rowe could come in that position. The one thing I'm not sure about is playing Emile Smith Rowe out wide. I don't see why we should be doing that. We've got enough wingers. I think it should just be like for likes. But I'm just going to say hello to a few people in this chat. Hello to Osman Ali, who's already coming with something negative. I'm going to come back to that. Mori Memento. Mate, that's 3 days running, bro. I'm respect to that. Daniel Ford, new guy. He only just subscribed yesterday. He's here again. Nice to see you. And Sebastian, he's a regular. Nice to see you. Good evening. Now, just to let you know, I'm catching up. We're going to be catching up with African just to see what's happening with what his thoughts are recently with regards to what's been happening with Arsenal. A lot more positivity going on, a really important running coming up, which I'd like to discuss with you, Africa. And then what we're going to do sort of 15-20 minutes later, we'll drop the link into the chat group. Anyone who wants to come in and let's have a chat. That's what this show is about. It's not about us, it's about you guys. So African, I mean, look, you've seen a few things. You mentioned Odegaard, which I'm really glad you have.
I have 2 more points.
Yeah, go ahead.
The other point was Tierney, underrated, man. Underrated. What a player. What a player, man. Best left back I've seen in my life as an Arsenal fan. I'm 25 years old. That's the best left back I've seen in my time. I know Ashley Cole was there, but I was too young to really.
Oh, you missed out on Ashley, yeah?
Ashley Cole was a good left back as well. So, Tierney, undervalued. Listen, guys, that goal he scored, against Benfica, I'm sorry, that won us the game. I don't care about Aubameyang's goal. If Tierney doesn't score that goal at the time that he scores that goal, and the way he takes that goal and he takes it all on himself, he's a superstar, man. I love that kid. I really, really do. And I haven't loved a player like that as much, in a really, really long time, I would say. And usually I'm an attacking player, so I don't really like defenders. Like I never have an eye out for defenders. And this is the first time I love this kid, and he's a defender. It's really incredible.
He's not just a defender, though, is he?
It's everything.
He wants to make things happen. And do you know what the weird thing is for me? And a big up to Why Not, by the way. Nice to see you, and a big up. Thanks for saying hit the like buttons. Please do hit those like buttons. I mean, it's funny you say that because Tierney, we're talking about all these modern footballers, etc. But Tierney is very much the throwback fullback. These are the fullbacks we used to have, it's like your Lee Dixons and your Nigel Winterburns and those type of fullbacks where they're gritty and they get stuck in and they enjoy the physical aspect. And you see there's a little nasty element to him as well. I've seen a few clips where he calls someone a diving so-and-so. And that's what I want to see. I want to see someone a bit of, not dirty, but I want to see that if it gets to that, then we have to mix it up and go to the dark arts that we do.
He's willing to do it.
Yeah, and that's what I like about Tierney. So, I mean, I'm not used to getting this much positivity from you, African. I don't know what to do.
I mean, listen, Tierney has been always one of my favorite players. And I think, I recognize that our team runs through Tierney. As much as people don't really see that our team really does run through Tierney. At a point, it was Tierney and Saka on the left side. Everything was going through Tierney. And when Tierney came out of the team, I knew we were attacking-wise, we were not going to be the same team. And you see him come back in, and he's not even fully fit because he was injured for a little bit. And you see what he brings to the team. And Cedric has been playing well, but I think, you cannot compare Cedric to Tierney on the left side. And I would play Cedric on right back instead of Bellerin and keep Tierney and keep David Luiz and Mari and Gabriel. I know Gabriel didn't play well, but I mean, we have solid players right now. I mean, we should be able to beat Olympiakos with the players that I'm mentioning.
Well, this is what we're saying, like for likes. We were saying this offline earlier. Yeah. Finally, we have likes for likes. We've got, we could swap ESR for Odegaard. We've got plenty of centre backs we could swap. We suddenly, I'm not saying the left back situation is ideal at the moment. We need to address that because if Tierney's out, then we try to move Cedric across. I'm in agreement with you. Bellerin has to be ousted for someone like Cedric. Now in the summer, do we get someone better than Cedric? That's another question I'd like to hear from you. I think the answer is pretty obvious. Who else has stood out for you? And what have you seen? I mean, look, we haven't spoken for a little while. The Benfica game, hearts in mouth. We had a brief little interchange on Twitter about that.
Yeah, I thought we were out.
I know you did. Yeah. You were telling me all through the game we were out.
Yeah. Honestly, I didn't think we were going to do it. And when it happened, even I was just in shock. I couldn't believe it because I really thought we were going to go out, on away goals again. Like we didn't lose either of the two ties and we would have been knocked out. We didn't even get to play home or away. And we would be one of the only teams that didn't play away and then ends up getting knocked out on away goals. It's just classic Arsenal, just the way everything happened. It was just classic Arsenal. And you felt that it would end 2-2 and we'd miss out again and it would be a joke, and the season would be over. And I'm really happy that we scored. Saka really drove us through that. I was really unhappy not to see Martinelli, and I know how my feelings on Martinelli. This guy's a superstar. I don't know what's going on, man. I don't understand why he's not getting 5 minutes, 10 minutes. I mean,
do you think maybe he's protecting him? Do you think he's protecting him?
No, protecting him for what? For
Well,
what?
he had a bad injury, right? He had a bad injury. We've done it in the past with your Wilsheres of this world and a few others, your Ramses of this world. Do you think he's looked at it? He's gone,
I
I'm
disagree,
protecting him?
Lev. I disagree, Lev, because when we were in trouble, he was using him. When we had injuries 2-3 months ago in December during the Christmas break, when we were having a lot of injuries, and Martinelli just came back from injury. We played him 3 games in a row. I mean, we played him against United. We took him off at halftime. We played him against Chelsea. I mean, you cannot play that amount of minutes and say, right, that you're trying to protect him, and then all of a sudden he's out of the team when the other players are back. So
are those amount of minutes? Are those amount of minutes what's caused his injuries? Is another thing. I mean, we were playing him a hell of a lot.
Before, Lev, he wasn't playing, man. He hasn't been getting to game time for a while. It's not an excuse for me. And when you love a player that much, you personally watch everything, so you don't miss a thing. You know that the kid hasn't played because every game you want him to play, and you see that he doesn't come on, right? So, yeah, for me, I'm really disappointed. I don't think he's protecting him. I just don't think he rates him, or maybe
I don't know.
I don't know. This game we're playing.
Another story I've heard is he's preparing him for a centre forwards role and keeping him away from that wingers role. I don't know. I mean, listen, I'm sure he rates him. I don't think he doesn't rate him. There's something we don't know about, but I mean, the one saving grace for him is that Willian and Pepe have kind of upped it a little bit. So it's kind of, if it didn't, then it would have had the likes of yourself and a load of other fans going mad at him. Why are you not playing Martinelli? So I mean, there's a few other, so let's get into this, right? The thing is, we're in a very, very crucial build-up, right? This week is imperative. We were talking about last week, Benfica, it's a be-all and end-all game. But this is where it starts getting serious for me, because we've got 2 legs with Olympiakos. We've got Burnley, who I'm expecting, rightfully so, expecting us to beat. I think we're on a good run of form. But then we've got Olympiakos, and then we've got Spurs. And then I think after that, we've got, is it Liverpool after them as well, after Olympiakos?
Yeah, Olympiakos and then Liverpool again.
Yeah. So I think this week, these next 2 weeks, it defines our entire season.
I disagree.
No? Really? Why is that?
I think every single week is the most important week of our season. That's the attitude we should be having. Every single game is a final. And let's be real, Lev. That Benfica game did not look like a final, ever. That did not look like a final. I didn't see the players acting like that was a final and that their lives were on the line until it was, getting a bit late. So we need to make sure that does not happen again. And Arteta definitely needs to be getting into the players saying, this is not acceptable. It needs to be 110%. Whether it's against Burnley, I don't care who it's against. Okay, maybe against Burnley we play 90%, but I mean, Europa League needs to be 120%, man. People, losing their legs because this is our season. We lose, we get knocked out, and that's over. Next season, we're not going to get good players. We're going to be stingy. The board's going to come out and say, that we can't attract the players that we want, or, the players that we can afford are not on the market. And the excuses they make. And we're going to be in this like mediocre flow for another 2-3 seasons until we start moving players, and I can't keep waiting.
No, I agree. I agree. The entire season, needless to say, the entire season is important. But I think this next 2 weeks is gonna decide whether or not we've got to try. Like, if we can, someone rightly said, and thanks for this, Sebastian. We got West Ham, then Liverpool.
Yes,
I think it's a catch-22 situation, because we've got a lot of hard games, but then at the same time, if you want to catch up those points, you got to beat these teams. So in one side, you've got an opportunity to gain on them. They're 6-pointers. Or another side, you've got an opportunity where you could be really dropping down that table. So, I mean, that's when I was saying, it's a defining part of the season. But look, we've got Flo in the house. Hello, mate. Arteta, and this is typical Flo, by the way. I wasn't expecting anything else. Arteta has taken Arsenal backwards in the league, FA Cup. He's taken us one step further in Europa League with a better squad than last season, yet people draw over Arteta. Keep rewarding failure. What do you got to say about that, Flo?
African.
Yeah.
We know how Flo is, and we know his thoughts on Arteta, right? And I see where he comes from, and I see his frustration. But you have to play both sides of the coin, right? I mean, he hasn't had the squad. We haven't had too many injuries, but I mean, we don't have a good enough team where even one injury, like a Partey injury or an Aubameyang injury, it really affects our season. We're not like a Man City or Liverpool that can really change, 1 or 2 players and still be the same team. So, I really think that this summer transfer window is defining for me. Depending on the players that Arteta gets, that's really going to push me to Arteta out or in again. I mean, even if we get knocked out of the Europa League, I mean, I think we would need a change. And the only way I'd be able to get back in is if we had really exciting signings, maybe two 50 million pound players that come straight into our starting 11, which we need. We need more than two players, but I'll take minimum of two players that come straight into our starting 11, and I'll think Arteta is serious about challenging, and he has the squad. I think he doesn't have the players right now, man. Willian and Pepe are just showing up right now, and that's a lot of investment that we expected to be returning goals and assists from the beginning of the season, and it's March and they're starting to perform. And so it's 3/4 of the season gone, and now they're starting to perform. So it's not really his fault. Sometimes I feel bad for him.
You know what? That's a good point. These are the things people don't take into account. It's been a very stop and start season. It's very it's unprecedented. It's almost like an NFL league. We're playing once every 2 or 3 days. We're having to continually chop and change the teams. We're getting more injuries than we've ever had, more away wins than we've ever had. These are not surprise things. These are due to this season. So, I understand where Flo's coming from. Flo, we're going to drop the link in there. I'm sure if you want to jump on and debate.
I want to answer his last question, because he says, do we have a better squad to be 10th? And I just want to say this. Listen, does Liverpool have a better squad to be 7th? We're 3 points behind Liverpool, man. And that really puts it into context for me. When I saw that yesterday, I was like, 3 points behind Liverpool. Arsenal. And that really puts everything into context to show us that, like, this season has actually been a crazy season, regardless of how strong you are. And let's say Man City is an exception, right? They're just a superstar, all-star team. The best team you could really imagine to put together. So I don't count. But look at the other teams. I mean, Chelsea's had a good run of the last 3 games with their new manager. But I mean, the rest of the teams, we're close. I mean, we still have a small chance in the Prem. Let's get that right. I mean, if we win the next 3-4 games, we beat Liverpool, we're in the top 4. We're like in the top 6, around the top 6, top 4. So
do you know those points we dropped when we had those sendings off earlier on? That 7-game run of losses is what's cost us. Otherwise, two of those into wins, we're right up there. So I mean. It's a crazy season. I don't think it's one that we can try to compare with. There's a few questions in here as well, African, I'll throw at you. Weird question, but with hindsight, and this is coming from Maury, he comes out with great questions, this guy. Weird question, but with hindsight and how crucial the league and Europa games are now, was it actually a good thing being knocked out of the FA Cup?
Good question, Maury. It's hard to admit because, as an ambitious Arsenal fan, I want to be involved in everything and I want to win everything because, that's my personality and that's what I expect from my team as well. But if we want to be realistic, we know that we don't have a squad capable or good enough to compete in 4 different competitions to the latter stages, right? I mean, we can compete in the beginning, but once it starts getting to the latter stages and there's more fixtures, I think we're not able to manage. So I would say, yes, it's cool that we got, it's okay we got knocked out of the FA Cup. I think we might have faced a City or a Chelsea United in the final or semi-final and not have been able to manage anyways. So it's not I'm not saying it's a good thing, but I'm thinking in larger scale of things, if we do well in the Europa, we qualify for Europe, we're not looking at it and actually saying anything, right? Just like we're not missing Ozil right now. Who's talking about Ozil? I haven't heard anyone talk about Ozil. So it's the same thing.
Do you know what? When we went out the FA Cup, I saw a lot of people going crazy. But I actually said this, and I got a lot of stick for it. But if I was to go out of one competition, that would be the one for me because we've won it so many times. Plus, on top of that, it doesn't actually get you anywhere. You win it. You've got a trophy. Don't get me wrong. Love a trophy. And we've got like 14 of them now, 15. I mean, how many is it now? I've even lost count. 15, but yeah. But the fact of the matter is, it's still, in the grander scheme of things, it doesn't move you to the next level. So, I agree. I agree in some sense. I'm not saying it was great that we went out, but it wasn't the end of the world.
But if we don't qualify for Europe, then we have a different feeling. It's because we still have a chance and we're still in it that we feel this way. I think if we got knocked out, we wouldn't feel the same ways. But that's how life works.
Even if we won the FA Cup, I'll be very frank and honest with you, I'd be disappointed. And I'll tell you why.
I'd be disappointed, but at least we'd be in Europe. I, as an Arsenal fan, I've never seen us out of Europe. So if we're out of Europe, this is going to be the first time I've witnessed Arsenal out of Europe. So
well, I hope that doesn't happen. Flo's saying Liverpool had injuries to key players. Hold on. We've had injuries to key players. We've bought Thomas Partey, right? Who was meant to be our foundation in the middle of the park. He's hardly featured, right? We've had quite a few injuries ourselves. I'm sure of it. So, I mean, yes, all right, Liverpool had Van Dijk out. But, they had Van Dijk. We had likes of Rob Holding and all them still coming back. We've had Chambers injured out, in and out. We haven't really had a settled team ourselves for a while. So I don't know, Flo. I'm not season defining injuries is what Flo is saying. But then I'll throw this back at Flo. If you're a top team, is it only take one injury to take you out of the title charge? Is that what you're saying to me, Flo? Because all you're really pointing at, let's be honest, is the Van Dijk injury. All right, Henderson's recently got injured, but let's be honest, most people are talking about the Van Dijk injury. And if it only takes one player to scupple your season, then what does that say about you? I'm sorry, I don't know, mate. I really don't know. Let's have a little catch up to see what else everyone is saying here. Theo Ekpe, another regular. This season has been crazy season. Have a 4-game run, and we are back in the top 4.
Exactly.
Yeah,
that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, this is where we always get sucked in though and start thinking about hope, isn't it? We started talking about finishing top 4. This is where it all goes wrong. Osman Ali, this is what I was referring to earlier. He's first in the chat group, and the first thing he said was, I have a bad feeling about tomorrow. I just can't trust these players. We win a few games. We just know it's a matter. You know what, Osman? You're someone who's suffering like PTSD. That's what it is. Like, you've seen it a few times. It's like that Benfica game. The minute they equalized, we all had it in our head, we're out. It's that same feeling again, right? We were not expecting that goal in the last few minutes, were we? So, who knows? So what I'm thinking of doing, Theo, is that a Dallas Cowboys hat? Yeah, it is. I didn't know it was a Dallas Cowboys hat when I bought it. I don't like American football. I'm not going to lie. I was actually American. When I watched American football, I was a Washington Redskins fan, but people keep referring to it, so it is what it is. Sebastian, just need to keep winning, then see what happens. Excellent foresight there, Sebastian. Keep winning, and we'll see what happens. So, look, there's also been some news with regards to unprecedented new approach to our transfer window. I was reading yesterday, we got 6 players that they're looking at. I was discussing this with Shaheen. He was heard it all before, but Arteta's making all the right noises. Apparently, they're going to look to get rid of Bellerin. They're going to look to get rid of Torreira. They're going to look to get rid of Lacazette. And the reason those 3 in particular is those ones they can make a bit of money on. The only one I'm a little bit unsure about is Lacazette on recent form. I'll be honest with you, right? Because he's the only one I see linking up with your forwards. So what have you been seeing in the news recently that sort of, appealed to you? And what have you been thinking about what's being said?
Yeah, I mean, I totally hear what Shaheen's saying, right? In terms of we've heard it all before. I feel like this time is a little bit more intense, right? I mean, if you really look into what Arteta is saying, he's basically saying like we're gonna, the fact that as a club we need to do so many transactions in this past January and this summer shows you where we are as a club, because you shouldn't have to make so many transactions, over 10 to 12, in and out, incomings or outgoings together, right? That shows the state of the club. And I like to hear that. It means he's recognized that there's an issue, and he said it in the public, right? So they've identified that there's an issue. Now they need to deal with it. I think they've shown that in January they're able to get rid of players. Now let's see if they're able to get players like Bellerin out for good money. Get Lacazette out for good money. Seriously, Lev. I mean, I know he's playing well, man, but we can't be taking losses, man. We can get another player that can do a good link-up job, can be really good for the next 2-3 years, And
well, they talk about Edouard, don't they? From
I take him. He's great. Yeah? He's physical. Yeah, he's physical. He's fast. I mean, he's experienced. To be honest, I take him. I think he'd do a good job, and he wouldn't cost too much. To be honest, I think he'd cost maybe the same price we would get to sell Lacazette. To be fair, and I'd get rid of Nketiah. I'd get rid of Reece Nelson. All these players that are not going to be at Arsenal. Just get rid of all of these guys. Buy cheap players. I don't mind buying cheap players. Like if they're good players and they're consistent players, and going to do a job for the team, I don't mind. Even if I've never heard of this player before and they come from the Championship, it's all about the performance. It's not all about the big names for me. I just want to see a team that's willing to fight to the death, right? And you listen to Pep Guardiola and what he says. His expectation of his team is to run their hearts out. That's a minimum expectation. You have to run your heart out. And that is what Arteta is trying to implement into this Arsenal team. And you can see it. You need to run your butt off, regardless of if you're touching the ball or not. It's the whole package. I want players that are going to run down their teeth and play for the team and play for me. And as I would want that as a manager. And that's great to see. So very positive.
Yeah, you know what? he has come out with some very positive statements. I think what I do like is he's kind of, by making these statements, he's kind of putting the onus on the board. He's sending a message to say, listen, this is what I'm saying to these guys, and this is going to be their expectations in the summer. So I am happy he's saying that. Umar is asking you this question: would you still sell Lacazette if he gets? That's a great question, Umar.
It'd be the best time. It'd be the best time to sell him. Imagine how valuable he would be if he scored 25 plus goals this season. He helped us win the Europa League. And let's be real, okay, I guess maybe close to legend status, close to being one of, great Arsenal player. If you win the Europa League for Arsenal, I think that'd be really good. And I would sell him because I don't see him playing. He's going to be 30. We're going to have one more year. Just get rid of him. It'd be the perfect opportunity to get rid of him. Get rid of all the players that we need because we would have just won a European tournament. Gives us some pedigree. Get rid of all the players that we don't need. Bellerin, all these guys, get rid of them. And David Luiz are included, by the way.
David Luiz as well. You get rid of him, yeah?
Get rid of him. Well, what's the point of keeping these guys, man? We have so many.
I would get rid of him.
Doing really well, man. He can come back into this team.
Well, that's a great point. Two centre backs that we sent out, Mavropanos and Saliba, both getting rave reviews right now, right? I mean, is this genius by Arteta? Or are we going to say actually, he's not spotted that they're good enough to get in the team? Which one do you think it is?
I mean, Lev, listen to this. William Saliba is not ready to play for Arsenal, but he's played 10 games in the French league, and he hasn't been dribbled once by an opponent. Wow, what a stat, man. You haven't been dribbled.
That's a big stat.
That's a big stat for me, man. That shows that he's playing out of his skin. Imagine he's playing at Arsenal and no player had beaten him. That'd be a crazy stat. And that was Gabriel, by the way. And when we were raving about Gabriel, that was kind of the same stat. He wasn't getting beaten by anyone. He was winning everything. So it just shows that he's able to play for Arsenal. I think bring him back into the team next season, reintegrate him. There's no reason for us not to be honest. We don't need to go spend more money on a center back. We know we need a new right back. We need a new cam if we don't buy Odegaard. I think get rid of Ceballos. It's not only because of the mistake he made. I just don't think he's good, but he's not good enough for a Premier League title winning team. So just get rid of him. Odegaard maybe buy. We need another cam. We need another center midfield, and we need another striker. Who's
your preferred right back? Who's your preferred right back? Because some people now are out saying everyone wanted Lamptey. Now they're all saying that Lamptey would be too much of a, should we say, an adventurous fullback, and they don't want that, which I kind of find quite weird. Because if you look at Tierney, you can't say he's not adventurous. Who's your preferred choice at right back? Some would say give Cedric his chance. Who's your preferred at right back? Who's your preferred maybe to link up up front as well? Because someone's mentioning here Roman Yaramchuk from Ghent. I'm going to drop the link in the second, guys. And then if you lot want to join in and have the convo, feel free to jump in. But yeah, who's your preferred right back and centre forward choices?
It has to be Cedric, right? I mean, after we saw how he played as left back, he had only one bad game against Southampton. In that FA Cup game, not the Premier League game, because we won that one. Cedric, man. He's just so much better, to be honest.
Would you not buy someone else, or would you just go like? Would
no,
you buy a backup?
No, 100%. We need to buy someone else. I'm saying for the rest of the season, I'd play Cedric unless he gets injured, and play him behind. Damn, man, play him behind. I want to say Pepe because he played well, but it has to be Saka, right? I mean, you can't take him out of the team. No. Yeah, exactly. So I would keep it that way, and I'd buy Lamptey. And to be quite honest, I don't really care who we get as right back. I think anyone we get is going to be an improvement. And for me, the pivotal position for me is more the center attacking mid and center mid. I want Xhaka to be replaced. I want him out of here, and I want that cam player. And I'm okay to keep Aubameyang and Martinelli as our strikers for next season. Get rid of Lacazette and Nketiah and have those two guys up there, and have Willian and Pepe rotating with whoever's playing on the wings.
Yeah. No. I agree with you. 100%. So we've got two regulars here waiting in the wings. I'm going to bring them both in. Let's bring them both in. We got Sebastian. How you doing, Sebastian? Nice to see you again. And we got Enrico. Hey, I like this guy.
How you doing, guys? You good?
Enrico. He's so cool. He's got a Scottish accent, Italian name, and he's just so smooth. And you got Seb. Seb's always here talking facts. How you doing, guys? So I'll start with you guys. Okay, Enrico, Sebastian. So let's start with Enrico, bro. Yeah. The floor's yours. What do you want to discuss?
I think this week's a massive week for Arsenal. Not just this week. I think this whole month when you look at the games we've got coming up, we've got Burnley tomorrow, we've got Olympiakos, then we've got Tottenham, then we've got West Ham, then Liverpool, then also we've got Olympiakos again at home. I think this month is going to be defining in our season. If we go through this relatively unscathed, then I think we've got a chance. And in regard to with tomorrow, I think the Burnley game, I think they've struggled a lot this season, and I think the main reason why is because I think they rely so much on their crowd. They kind of remind me, do you remember the Bolton team of Sam Allardyce? That's really physical, physical, that kind of team. They kind of remind me like that because they relied so much on the crowd. And without the crowd, they struggled this season. But I still think they're going to give us a few problems tomorrow because, especially with Chris Wood up front, he's a very big, powerful guy. So hopefully, I think tomorrow we have to play. Personally, I would go with Mari and David Luiz and try to get that partnership going because I think last week, I think Mari was at fault for the first goal. But
he was.
Like, apart from that, I think he's been really solid.
That was at fault. I mean, there was multiple.
Oh, no, he was at fault as well, yeah.
I think there was a combo. I think you could have said Mari could have gone out, but then at the same time you could have said that El Neni when he was tracking back should have gone out as well. Yeah.
But I think tomorrow I think we'll win it. I think it's gonna be a hard game because they're very reliant on set pieces. They're a very strong team, and they'll sit back like two banks of four, and they're not going to give them us that much space. So, but I think we'll win that tomorrow. Then Olympiakos, I know we've got what happened after what happened last season. It's going to be a bit deja vu if we lose again, but I'm quite confident with that game as
well. By the way, so that's great for us. They lost their best defender, I heard, so that's good for us.
Yeah. Do you know what's really weird though? They've got that striker who scored the winning goal, Arabi, and I didn't realize he's like 35 years old. I thought he was so much younger, and I saw his statistics this season, and he's putting up trees in the Greek league. Okay, the Greek league's not the best league in the world, but it's impressive considering that.
We're going to have a load of Greeks complaining now, Enrico.
Sorry.
I didn't say that to my Greek friends out there. Enrico said that he's Italian.
They're going to find me now. They're going to come find me and kill me.
You could either have a go at him about the Italian league or the Scottish league.
You can say anything about the Italian league. I'm a Roma fan, man. I'm a Roma fan. And trust me, we've had... But yeah. What do you guys think about this next month? Do you think it's a make or break, or do you think... How do you think we're going to do this month?
African, I'll let you go first.
Sure, yeah. I mean, Enrico, I told Lev, man, like it's not just this month; it's every single week till the end, till everything is done. It's a final, man. It's a final all the way through, man, and like a serious final because this is, Arsenal out of European competition for the first time in 25 years. That's a big deal, man, and we're going through a huge rebuild. And you're telling me, if we're out of Europe, man, there's no way we're attracting any type of decent, even above average player, man. I can't see it happening. There's just too many good teams. Leicester, Wolves, all these guys, they're competing with us. Let's be real. Aston Villa, all these guys are competing with us now, and they're going to be able to get the same players and offer them the money that we are, and then they're competing for Champions League positions. So, Enrico, what I really want to see is I want to see a fight to the death. I think Benfica game, we were not fighting. That was not a final for me. I'm telling Lev, I'm watching that game, and I'm like, dude, you're about to be knocked out. Like, run your teeth. Like, at least, get a yellow card. Show that you're angry about that you're going to be knocked out. I didn't see that until the last 20 minutes, and we cannot risk that. We are not a team that are able to risk and put ourselves in those scenarios because we know how, susceptible we are to just one mistake from any player. David Luiz, Xhaka, we know how it is. One mistake, 1 second, game over, man. And that's the problem with Arsenal. We need to be 100% from the first minute, get a goal. And Arteta does well with the structure. One thing I've seen Arsenal change is we're not losing 4-5-0 against bigger teams. We're able to actually stay in the game, and that's something I really like about Arteta. So, if we go a goal down, it's okay, but preferably, man, 110, 120%. Show the world that you care about Arsenal and that you want us to be in the European elites. I mean, it should be embarrassing for these players as well, right? The ones that are going to be here next season, I doubt they want to be playing no European football, right? So that's the way I see it, man. It needs to be 120%. And if it isn't, get out of my team. Arteta needs to sell all the players that are not performing. Bye-bye. This is your final chance, really.
So there you go. African wants to bring back gladiators where you fight to the death. And if you're not doing it, out you go.
Of course, listen, because I would fight to death. Yeah, I would cut my finger off for Arsenal to win. And I expect that from the players as well. I'm not getting paid. You are. And that's how much love I have for my team. You're getting paid. At least have half of what I have.
There you go, right? There you go. So, Sebastian, you were hearing what these guys are saying. Theo's saying the link is at loading. These guys got on fine. I'll try it again for you, Theo, by the way. Any problems, let me know. Sebastian, you've heard what's been going on, and it's good to see you again. We've been chatting online. How you doing? Right, so you've heard what Enrico's had to say. You've heard that African Gooner wants to bring back swords and gladiators and fighting to the death. What do you have to tell us?
Yeah, it is actually good that we now have options within the squad, especially at centre back and in the attacking midfield area. I'm just thinking maybe who should we see at centre back? Should we see David Luiz? Should we see Mari? Should we see David Luiz Gabriel? Should we see Holding come back?
Oh, yeah, that's a good point. Do you know what? That's a good question because, like, you know, who do we play next? There's a balance in that. Who do you play in what games? Because Pepe and Willian have started to hit form, but then at the same time, we all know that Saka can't be dropped in the big games. What do you go with? I mean, I like to hear your thoughts in the chat, and I like to hear your thoughts in here. Enrique and Enrico. Don't know why I called him Enrique and Glacy. and African.
You call me Enrique as well, man.
Yeah. What do you guys think he should be starting with in what games?
Enrico, you want to go first?
Yeah.
Go on, go first, Enrico.
I'm trying to think. It just depends on the opponent. I think. This is a tough one because the one thing I've noticed about Rob Holding, he's really good in the air, and Burnley. You're not a fan.
You've already.
Listen, you know what?
Enrico,
I'll say this right now.
You started upsetting people on here, Enrico.
Right. Here's the thing. I don't rate.
Having a go at you.
I don't rate Rob Holding. I think his only attribute is that he's quite good in the air. So maybe play him against Burnley. But then I really like the Mari David Luiz partnership. I think they seem to really work well together, and they both speak, and they're both tall. They're both commanding. And I've noticed one thing about Mari. He seems a bit of like a vocal leader because when he was at Flamengo, I'm pretty sure he's a captain when he was at Flamengo. So I think he's always been that quite. He's a bit of a leader, and he seems like a really good influence in the dressing room. So based on tomorrow's game, I'd still keep David Luiz and Mari, and maybe Gabriel against Olympiakos. Maybe that's what I would go for.
There you go. And African, what would you go for?
Yeah, man. I mean, I haven't been a Holding fan. It's not that I hate the guy, dude. It's just like he's not good enough, man. We paid $2 million for the guy. There's a reason we paid $2 million for him, and he can do a job, but he's not that like Upamecano, and I'm not expecting him to be. But I want Arsenal to have the best, or close to it. And I think that it's really important for us to keep consistency in our back line, right? I think it's okay that we can have this conversation about Pepe, Willian, and Saka interchanging. That's cool. In the front line, I'm okay to change some of that because they're all on form. I think in the center back, stay with the same partnerships. Let's build a partnership for the rest of the season to take us to wherever we need to go. And it's harsh on Gabriel, but he hasn't been playing well. I don't think he would be too disappointed. I think Arteta needs to sit down and have a conversation with him and say, listen, you've had a phenomenal season, I think maybe it's time to take a little bit of a step back, make sure you put the brakes on and refocus yourself because in the last few weeks he has been a little bit dodgy. Let's be real, right? I would stick with David Luiz and Mari. I think what's really good with Mari is he's not fast, but his positioning is good, man. And I feel secure. It's weird because I didn't think I would, but he makes me feel secure more than David Luiz, and David Luiz is faster than he is. So I think Mari is a good squad and good asset player for us, and then I would continue that way until if either of those two make a mistake, then Gabriel comes in. If none of them make a mistake, we continue with Cedric, David Luiz, Mari, and Tierney. I think that's the best back four we have. And I want to also emphasize this, guys. I recently watched, Arsenal.com, Bernd Leno, open mic. You listen to him and how he was speaking to his defenders. I really, really like that. That was really, really good. He is very commanding. I didn't know he was like that. If you watch
they also did that with Matt Ryan as well against Aston Villa, and he seems quite vocal as well. They're both very good vocal goalkeepers.
That's what I want to see from my goalkeeper, right? Up, push up, man on. I mean, all these communications, you don't see that as a fan when there are people in the stadium. So when you have videos like this, you get to see that he has leadership skills, right? And that's great to hear and see.
Yeah, I'm on, it's not a popular thing, but I like the thought of Mari and Gabriel together, right? And I know the whole thing with them both having the same, same thought and all that sort of thing. But I don't know. I don't know why that should be a major issue, right? And also, I like the fact that Gabriel is quick and strong, whereas Mari is dominating in the air for me and calm. So I think there's a combination that could work there, but the only issue is they're both left-footed, and they said it's going to be an issue. They have to have one left, one right. I don't know. There's a lot of difference in opinions there, but personally, I do like the idea of the Gabriel Mari combo. But yeah, he's not playing his best at the moment, Gabriel. So I can understand that. Someone is saying. So, sorry, mate. Someone is saying, I wouldn't start Tierney versus Burnley. We're facing Spurs and Olympiakos twice within 7 days. Tierney crucial in those 3 matches. There's another
Disagree completely. First of all, I mean, just on that point, I agree. Gabriel and Mari would be great as well. I just think David Luiz, although he makes some mistakes, he gives us that over-the-top ball, which, if we can't create, then he's the one who's going to create for us. And that's the only thing he gives to this team, really, for me. And he scored a goal, too, the header, with the Willian assist. So, I mean, he's on good form right now. I'm sure he has a lot of confidence. So I would start him. In regards to Tierney and even Partey, I don't care. Start them in every single game. When you have players that important, man, in your team, you cannot even put them on the bench, and bring them on in the second half. As we said, every game is a final for us, which means we start our best team, man. It doesn't matter, if we have a risk of injuries. This is football, man. This is, we have our life on line right now. We need to play our best players. And you saw what Partey did when he came in. He came in and we scored 2 goals like that.
I'd rather we start with our best team, try and get the job done early in the first half. And then get, I think we could get Burnley done. You know what? Like the Benfica game in the first leg, we could have had that done in the first leg. Didn't finish it off. 3 or 4 goals we could have been up in that leg. Second leg would have been a totally different story. I want us to try and get games sewn up nice and early so that we have the option to take players off and bring them on. Big shout going out to Huey. I know he's watching all the way from Sydney. A mate of mine, how you doing, Huey? Squidly. If you want to come on, I'm going to drop the link in. You guys, anyone in the chat, if you want to come on, I'm going to drop the link in. Big up to AQ as well, who's just come on. I'll drop the link in again. What else do you guys want to discuss? Bring it up. Any questions? Let us know. Carry on, guys.
There's one other thing.
Go on, Seb.
Obviously, lately we've been linked with quite a few right backs. I heard you in the chat earlier talk about Lamptey. Another option would be like Hakimi as well. I think he's at Dortmund or Inter, one of the two. Okay. Who would you rather out those 2? Who do you reckon will be more suited, or who would you reckon will be easier to get, Hakimi or Lamptey? Or
I personally would prefer a Premier, like a British player, like someone who's played in the Premier League, who's used to it, who won't take time to bed in and settle in. We've had too many of those. Just come in, take your position, make it yours. I've seen Lamptey a few times. I like him a lot, and I know that he was really sort of respected at Chelsea as well before he chose to go off because it was too much competition. He weren't getting games. So, I mean, if you look at what he's doing now, that's the sort of player I want. I know that you've got someone who's brave enough to say, I'm not getting game time here. I'm going to go somewhere else and prove myself. And look what he's done. He's gone to Brighton. He's proven himself. Teams like Arsenal are now looking at him. That's the sort of player I'd like. Am I wrong?
Yeah.
There's another 2 players, I think. With Hakimi, with Sebastian, my issue with Hakimi is he's really good going forward, but Inter Milan, they play with 3 at the back, and he plays more as a wing back. And because we play 4-2-3-1, I think defensively he's a very good player going forward. Like, I watch him a lot. He's a really good player going forward, but I think defensively he can be a bit suspect.
That's the one thing about him people are saying. He likes to bomb on, and is he a little bit susceptible the other way?
And I think the 2 right backs, there's 2 names I kind of like. I like Matty Cash from Aston Villa. He's impressed me every time I've seen him play.
Good shout.
And I've also I know this sounds a bit controversial because he used to play for Tottenham. I really like the look of Kyle Walker-Peters at Southampton. He's a player who's really still young. He's only 23 years old. And even though Southampton have just signed him, I think they signed him last summer. Every time I've seen Southampton play, he's been a standout player for them. So if we cannot get like a Max Aarons or Tarek Lamptey, I think a player like Matty Cash or a Kyle Walker-Peters would be a good shout. I think those 2 players.
You know where he's coming from. That's not happening.
I know.
I take him. He's good too.
No, he's a very good player. And I think we should start. I think the one issue with Arsenal is I think they've not raided the championship market. I think there's a lot of hidden gems in the championship market.
There's talk of Buendia for the cam roll again as well. They've been talking about trying to get him down on the prices.
Ivan Toney as well from Brentford.
Ivan Toney as well, yeah.
Brentford, they've been spoken about.
Because you look at players like Sorry, what were you going to say?
No, that's all right, Enrico. I mean, look, you're right. There seems to be better players coming from the Championship now. Is that something that's happened, or is that just the fact that the Championship teams are looking for players elsewhere? They are looking. Championship players teams are now buying from abroad a lot more than they used to as well.
Yeah.
So that gives them the option to maybe buy that player that the likes of the Prem teams weren't sure about, bring them in, and then suddenly look at there's been a number of them that have come from the Championship, gone into the Prem now, and are doing all right. I mean, is it Ben Rama's gone to West Ham, hasn't he? Ben Rama.
Yeah.
Even Eze from QPR, he's gone well.
Robertson as well from Hull.
I don't want to be negative, but guys, those are all players we should have been getting, man, and we could have gotten. We were missing boats on all these players, like James Rodriguez, Doucouré, even those two players at Everton. I said it. People were like, those guys are not going to be good. Look at how well they've been doing, man.
I liked Cantwell last season as well. Cantwell was good last season at Norwich.
I love him.
I think it was
even Ben Godfrey, the guy from Everton. He came from Norwich. He went to Everton. He's been really good. There's so many hidden gems. Right? Sorry?
Well, is he a center back?
Yeah, he plays a center back. Yeah, he's a really good player. I've liked him.
Okay, I'm gonna bring in Theo, who's been waiting. Let's just bring him in. Theo, bro, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yes, bro. Where you coming from? Where are you?
Nigeria. From Nigeria.
Nigeria, yeah. All right, bro. Yeah. So you've got the floor from Nigeria. Big up. There's quite a few people from Africa on the show. So come on, Theo, you're on now. Tell us.
Ask us what. This was what's expected, right?
Yeah. All of African's mates are coming on now. So that's what's going on here now. So Theo, you're on the show, bro. You can. Yeah. The floor's yours. Whatever you want to talk about, go for it.
Yeah, necessarily. What I want to really talk about is about Bellerin.
You started now.
I've been hearing people talking about Lamptey, but personally for me, I don't really rate Lamptey like that. It might be a controversial decision because see Lamptey as more of a Jordi Alba.
Yeah.
But Jordi Alba is good in the Spanish league. Bring Jordi Alba to the EPL, and I don't think he will cope.
No, man. That guy's done and dusted, man. Why would you want to bring a guy his career is almost over? No. How old is he?
No, I'm comparing him to Jordi Alba. Even Jordi Alba in his prime.
I thought Theo was saying bring him now. I'm like, what?
Yeah.
No. He's like a Jordi Alba type of player or something like that. I don't really see someone that short really doing well in a big team. The reason why we feel like he's that good is because maybe he's like in a Brighton play more of their manager, their system is so fast, and he's like more of a right wing back, but we want to do a back four. That's what we want to do. I prefer in Max Aarons or something like that.
So what is your problem with Lamptey? So I know, is it because he's too short? Is it just because he bombs on too much? What is it that you don't like about Lamptey?
One issue with him is his injuries. He's still young and he has injuries, and I don't really like that because I'm already tired of Arsenal players having injuries anytime we buy them. Tierney, Partey. I don't need another player that I might eventually like, and then we'll start having injury problems. The other thing is also because he's short. It's not necessarily showing in Brighton, but I've watched some of their games and he's not really defensively solid, in my opinion.
Cedric is small as well, though, isn't he? Cedric is even smaller.
Well, Cedric is our backup right back for, if we want to progress as a team, Cedric is now our main right back.
Yeah.
So there's a few people agreeing with you, Theo. There's a few people agreeing with you on here. To be fair to you, I've got Archangel saying, I actually agree with Theo. Lamptey looks a bit weak and small. Lamptey is short, inexperienced, and injury prone. So since we've let you on, Theo, suddenly nobody likes Lamptey anymore. That's your fault. What's your thoughts, guys? What's your thoughts? I mean, you've heard what Theo's had to say. I mean, Cedric's 5'8", Lamptey's 5'5", someone's saying here. Wow. So Cedric would tower over Lamptey.
Yeah.
Good point, Theo.
Tierney's not the tallest of the
No, Tierney is like 6 foot.
and he's
Oh, Tierney's 6 foot.
Oh, I'm checking. You lot carry on. I'm checking.
I think it's
this out,
5'10". I think it's 5'10".
I'm hitting Google. I'm hitting Google here, right? So Tierney's height, because I'm starting to feel shorter by the time as this conversation goes by. Oh, it's in meters. I don't do meters. 1.78.
While you're looking at that, I'll address Theo.
Yeah, you do that. You do that. Carry on.
Yeah, I guess the way I see it, really, I mentioned it before you jumped on, Theo. I don't like. I'm not really focused on Lamptey. I think anyone we get, whether it's Max Aarons, whoever it is, I think automatically make us as a better team. And I think my focus isn't too much on getting, we don't have to get the best right back ever in the world. I think we have so many positions we need to fill that I'm okay to fill the right back with an above average player, someone better than Cedric, obviously someone that's not going to get injuries, and spend more money on a center defensive mid partner for Partey and a Cam. That's where my eyes are, Spend 25 to 30 million on a new right back that is going to do us a job. It's going to be really good, but don't go spend 50, 60 million on a guy, right? That's just, we don't need to do that. That's the way I see it. But I see your points on Lamptey.
He's Tierney's 5'8", by the way. Tofi, you said 5'10". Tierney is 5'8", guys. Yeah, so we've added a good there. So he's not that tall. But there you go.
Is it the same height?
Huh? So he's the same height as Cedric, Tierney?
Can't be possible.
Well, mate, I don't know. That's what Google's saying. So, I mean, if it's wrong, it's wrong. So, look, I personally, at the end of the day, I hear what you're saying, Theo, about the right back. I mean, Lamptey is one option. I would like someone very similar to Tierney, the same ilk, someone who's going to go in and be aggressive. Maybe Lamptey's not that person. Maybe there is somebody, but then is Max Aarons like that? Would you say Max Aarons like a Tierney?
Yeah, I prefer Max Aarons to Lamptey.
I think he's very good.
Okay.
The world, he's everywhere. He's bringing to him. So it must be very.
Sebastian, how much do you think we would have to pay for him?
Probably about 25, 30, something like that.
Yeah,
25.
that's cool. Why can't we do that?
Yeah, we should be able to afford that.
I mean, if we're going to rate Brighton, we should be going for Bissouma. I think he's more of an important player.
Thank you. Yeah. If we're going to rate Brighton,
if we're going to rate, listen, I think Lamptey has got the potential to be a good player, but you look at Bissouma, he's Premier League proven, he's at the right age profile, and he's someone who'd be a perfect partner for Partey, because they're both quite similar, but I think people underestimate. Bissouma's actually a really good passer of the ball as well. I think him and Partey they'd just be so good in midfield. Like so good. And if not, I like the guy from Fulham, Anguissa. Every time I've seen him play, he's really looked good as well. So I think in midfield we need that really strong, physical kind of player to partner alongside Partey. Then we're going to see Arsenal not look better just offensively, but defensively, because you've got the assurances of two players right there. You're going to stay there and pretty much just recycle possession and tackle, that kind of stuff. That's what I would go for personally,
Bissouma's my number one to replace El Neni.
Oh yeah.
No, come on, replace Xhaka, bro. Replace Xhaka.
Before you replace Xhaka, you're going to have to replace El Neni, because he's not going to get rid of Xhaka over El Neni, is he? I'm getting a bit of feedback from someone. I'm not sure who it's from. Let's just have a look at this. 1 second. It could be Theo's. You're getting a little bit of feedback from you, Theo, but it's all right. So, guys, in the chat, if anyone wants to come on and say your piece, I'm putting it in here. We're going to about 5-10 minutes left before we make the move. I'm not going to do a 2-hour all-nighter like I've done to African before. We've got things to do. But look, if you want to come in and say your piece about what's happening and who you would go for and whatever, that's that. Look, Flo, I'm not sure if Flo is saying Xhaka stays or if he wants him to stay. Flo, if you want to come on, mate. You got 5-10 minutes. But going back to what you guys were saying with regards to the striker situation earlier as well, then Lacazette, right? We've got Lacazette, we've got Martinelli, we've got Aubameyang, all who can play that centre forward position. The wingers we seem to be all right with at the moment. Do you guys agree? Do all of you guys agree about getting rid of Lacazette? Because, I mean, someone in the chat said if he gets 25 plus, would you keep him? African says no, he wouldn't keep him. He would use that as a way of adding more to his value to sell him. What you guys got to say about him? What you guys got to say about it in chat?
I meant to say if he scores 25 goals plus this season, should we keep him?
Yeah, that's what he was saying. I mean, you said you still would sell him, yeah?
Yeah, for sure.
That's fine. So what do you guys have to say about it?
Yeah, I'm 50-50 on Lacazette. He can actually be a really good player with his work rate, and he can get you goals. But there is also this thing that we probably do need a different type of striker up front, someone like a target man, like when we used to have Giroud. If you can get those crosses in, and then someone pulling up, or someone a bit more quicker to get onto those balls, maybe like Edouard from Celtic.
Yeah,
he's someone we.
Yeah.
When Ivan Toney from Brentford, you're just talking about players for the Championship. He's another one being linked off. So, or maybe Ollie Watkins from Villa, something like that.
Oh, that's one. That's a bit of a wild card. That's a wild card. Now, I wouldn't have gone for Ollie Watkins, yeah. But I'm glad you've mentioned that, Sebastian. And this is why I like these shows, because there's things that you wouldn't really bring up because maybe you don't think he is the right type of player, right? But there's been a number of people recently saying Ollie Watkins. I can understand it because every time he plays us, he scores, right? Plus, on top of that, he's a big Arsenal fan. We know that. Ollie Watkins, guys, is that someone you would consider over Lacazette?
Yes.
I don't know.
Enrico and Theo, I'll let you come in on that because Seb's made it perfectly clear. Yes, he would. So there you go. Don't have to say much to Seb about it.
I think we missed the boat when he was at Brentford. I think now his price has gone up. So Aston Villa will be asking for a lot more money. I think he went for 35 million, didn't he?
He would want to come though, wouldn't he? He would 100%.
Oh yeah, for sure. I think he would definitely want to come. He's also the right age profile. He's like 25, isn't he? So he's the right age profile. He's quick. He's strong.
Sorry, I need to interrupt. Lev, can we kick out Eddie for saying Xhaka is better than Benzema? Sorry, I can't accept that. Like,
who said that?
I was like, yo.
Who said that? Who said that?
Eddie Hodo. I don't know if he was joking. I don't think he is. I think he's
Xhaka is better than Bissouma.
Jesus.
There he is.
Eddie, man.
Everyone's entitled. Listen, guys. Everyone's entitled to their opinions. That's the whole point about fan cam. Right, so unless someone comes in here as a Spurs fan, start shouting Spurs, we'll have to give him an opinion. Sorry.
I think Seb mentioned about Edouard. I think he'll go to Leicester because when he was at Celtic, Brendan Rodgers was the manager. So I think, especially with Jimmy Vardy getting older, he's like 34, isn't he? I think Edouard will go to Leicester this summer. So I think we need to get someone who's in between Aubameyang and Lacazette, someone who can hold the ball up but can run in behind. So someone who's quick, who's powerful. Yeah,
exactly.
It does, man, and he's cheap. And really, what I would say on
like
Lacazette,
15 million.
Yeah, 15 million. And you telling me we can't trump Leicester and go and put a 20 million bid? I mean, come on, like at least try, right? I don't care if you don't.
I think we have to try for sure. Yeah.
But we'll need to go in quick because obviously Leicester are already planning to make plans.
But guys, surely London's a bigger pool than Leicester, one. And two, you got Kieran Tierney there. He's not going to go. There must be a little bit of pool with Kieran Tierney there as well. I know if I was, especially if I'm coming from Celtic, I'd want to go to London and play for Arsenal than Leicester. I'm not saying.
But look at Leicester's manager that has the same pull as Tierney would, and he's the manager, not a player in the team, right? So I don't know. It's a tough one for me, to be honest. And then, sorry, I would say, look at Leicester's team. You would say they're more competitive. I think Leicester has a better team than us. To be frank, it hurts me to admit it.
They might have a better team, but they're not a better club, are they? You don't.
No, not a better club. But historically, we've won more. But I mean, what is history really? I mean, what is history? I mean, nowadays, no one really cares about history.
Well, history tells you that at some point we're going to come good again, right? And it's been a while since we haven't.
How many teams have won Champions Leagues? Like Aston Villa won, or like some random teams just won European trophies and they've never come back from it. You know,
but we're not one of those teams, though. African, we've consistently won things over the years. Liverpool went 30 years before they won a title. Man United went 23 years before Alex Ferguson came along. Chelsea won nothing really until Abramovich came in with his oil money. So, we've always been there or thereabouts. I do understand where you're coming from. But personally, if I'm a footballer and I'm at Celtic and I've got a choice between Arsenal and Leicester, yes, the tables are different right now, but I would still look at that and go, do you know what? They've got to come good next season. I personally, I'm probably speaking from bias.
Arsenal hat on, yeah.
I probably have. Theo, quickly, bro, what do you think about the whole situation with regards to the likes of Edouard coming to us? Would he choose Leicester over us? Do you think he'd go to Leicester?
I don't even really fancy Edouard to start with, so I don't really care.
This guy don't like anyone. He don't like Lamptey. So who's your choice then? Who's your choice?
Ollie Watkins.
You go Ollie Watkins.
Well in a big team. I feel he's like one of those players that does well for a smaller team, but as soon as he comes to a big team, he just can't handle it. I fear that from him.
Bro, what has Ollie Watkins done, Theo? And I'm not asking this to trip you up. I'm genuinely asking, bro. We're not that type of show here. We don't try to wind people up or trip them up. I'm genuinely asking, what has Ollie Watkins done to convince you he's better than someone like Edouard, who we've been linked with for a couple of seasons now, and he's been performing, albeit in the Scottish League. What is it about Ollie Watkins that appeals to you more?
It's more about the profile of the player. Apart from the games I've watched, apart from him playing against us, I watch other Aston Villa games. His hold-up play is as good, if not a little bit better than Lacazette's. He's deceptively fast, and he's tall, which Lacazette isn't. So he has that aerial threat. So Edouard, I don't really know much about Edouard, to be honest. You
just don't like him.
I just don't fancy him because I feel it's this FIFA. Some people have this FIFA mentality, or maybe it's good on FIFA. Maybe that's why people like him or something like that. Because generally, I don't think anybody that says something about Edouard has actually watched him consistently. I'm not trying to throw shade to anybody in the.
Okay. In the video. Well, look again. Theo's at it again. People will start. Theo's coming like some spy or some, I don't know. That Maury wants Watkins. He's coming here. He's a sleeper cell. He's coming here and everyone's agreeing with him. There's a few people who are saying that they take Watkins. Maury would take Watkins. Alistair Brawns is saying, is Ollie Watkins in the Euro squad? No, I don't think he is at the moment, is he? Someone is saying, a random one, Tammy Abraham.
No.
We haven't not learned a lesson from getting players from Chelsea. Come on.
Yeah, exactly.
Danny Ings. You know what? Ings surprised me this season. Not gonna lie, but is he the type of player we need?
He's old.
He's 29.
Someone else has said this. Why are we not talking about this? Giving Balogun a go.
Because we're over it. We're over talking about it. We all there's no control.
He struggled at Liverpool, so he's really going to compare him.
Calvert-Lewin. Let's be realistic. Where Leicester's at right now, we're not going to get Calvert-Lewin.
Everton.
Yeah, that's what I was meant to say. Everton. We're not Watkins potentially, but then again, Villa are doing all right. I think the most likely person is Edouard from Celtic, because if we go in hard, you got Tierney, you got London. I think we'll get him. I don't see why we won't get him.
But the price really matters because, as we said, we know 6 players. We can't spend 50 mil on 6 players each, right? So it's going to be a mixture of 10, 15 million on each player. And I think that's the way we're going to have to go to at least get us to a stable environment, in the next 2 seasons where we have kind of a new, fresh team. And then we just start to add 1 or 2 pieces and start to tweak it a little bit the way Arteta wants. That's how I see it.
Yeah, no, I totally agree with you. Look, I mean, we've been going at this now for just over an hour. We've come back after a couple of weeks off. So, hopefully we're going to get you guys coming back again next week. I'm going to give you a break today now. We'll give us all a bit of a rest before tomorrow's game. African, is there anything you want to sign off with, bro? And any of you guys want to say anything last before we shoot off?
Yeah.
Let's have some predictions for tomorrow. Do you reckon we can do it? Because it won't be an easy game, because Turf Moor's always tricky, but it's one we do need to win, and it's winnable from the other next few ones coming up. So let's have some predictions.
All right, let's have some predictions.
I guess
Seb's running this show. Let's have some predictions.
Yes, just my final words would be, we all, I think, understand how serious, our season is and what it means to us right now, these next few games. So imperative that we put performances, imperative that Arteta gets it right with the starting lineup. I don't want to see Willian, to be honest. I know he's been playing well, but I wouldn't start him. I think tomorrow is a perfect opportunity to give Martinelli some game time. I think Smith Rowe, keep him out of the team, keep Odegaard playing, get him continuously ticking. I would say play Pepe. He has to start. I mean, he played phenomenally, and he just needs to keep that up. And if he does, then there's no reason he shouldn't be playing. So in terms of predictions, to be quite honest, I think we're going to be too good tomorrow. I'm saying 3-0. Easy 3-0. I think we're just good, man. I think Odegaard really just gives us this new dimension where he's able to just unlock so many doors for us, whatever it is, wherever it is on the pitch, left, right, middle. He can dribble, he can pass right, left, through pass. He has it all, man. And I really I think he gives us just too much for a team like Burnley. One pass from him and unlocks the door for Saka, and it's a goal.
Agreed. So he's gone for the Burnley win, and then do you know what? We haven't got the fan cam until next week, and we've got the Europa. So, all right, give me 2 predictions. So, Burnley, we've got a win. Europa, Olympiakos away.
Yeah, Umar's saying also we can't drop Willian, and someone else says, where do you put Martinelli? And those are all valid questions, man, but I'm not the manager, right? That's the manager's job. But it's great that we have this, we're finally in this position. I mean, it only took us to get to March to finally have this issue where we need to really choose between our wingers. I would say Olympiakos. Damn.
You got away with the easy one with Burnley. I'm not letting you get away with that.
1-0 against Olympiakos. I think it'll be tough, but we'll just sneak through 1-0.
So no Greek tragedy. So we've got 2 wins, yeah? Africa's come back with positivity. Love this new African. Okay, we'll go Seb. Seb, so you started this train. 2 results back-to-back. So we got Burnley and Olympiakos. What's your prediction?
For Burnley, I'll go 2-0 Arsenal. I think we should get it done, but it won't be straightforward. But I do think we should get it done.
Okay.
Olympiakos away, I'm going to say 1-1 the first leg, and then we win the second leg.
Why? Why are you going to put us through that?
We can't do that.
We did 1-1 last season. Last season we did 1-1, and I thought that was enough. I was at the Emirates for that game, the second leg.
We did 1-0 last season. We were even further because Arsenal will probably do something like that. So
last season Olympiakos was the worst.
Difficult for ourselves. So I'll say 1-1, but then we win the second leg, so we go through.
Okay, all right. So a draw and Burnley lose to us, right? Okay, so Enrico.
Yes.
Go on, bro. With your suave Italian Scottish style.
Right. I'm going to go for 2-1 tomorrow. I think Burnley will score from a set piece. And then, do you know what? Against Olympiakos, I think after what's happened last season, I just want to go there and put a marker down and go there and win 3-0.
Yeah,
completely
get it done early. Get it done early. Yes.
Finish the tie up. So in the second leg, there's not that pressure.
That's what I want to hear. Yes.
That's the thing. I want to go there and win and literally beat these.
Enrico, you're talking about Arsenal. Are you sure you're talking about Arsenal?
I know, man.
Wait,
just, do you know what? I know it's hard, man, but do you know what, right?
You started this positivity. Now you're having a go in for doing it.
Oh, that's 0 first leg. It's a dream, man. That's what everyone wants.
It's a dream.
Easy way.
I'm in dream mode today. And I'm also going to say tomorrow the first goal scorer is going to be Aubameyang. I think Aubameyang's going to score tomorrow.
Swish. That's what he apparently says. That's his new thing. I was watching
swag.
Twitch. Yeah, swag. I'm a dad nowadays, so these things just don't drop. Swag, don't drop for me. Theo, you've heard what's been said, bro. I'm gonna unmute you. What do you have to say with regards to the 2 results?
Muted.
Do I mute him? Do you know why? Because I've been muting him and unmuting him because of the sound. Can you hear me? Yeah.
Yeah. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you, bro. Your 2 results. Hit us.
Tomorrow's match 3-1. We will surely concede, just like Enrico said, through a set piece. Chris Wood.
I love this guy. It says it how it is, isn't it? We'll surely concede. It's one of them, isn't it? Yeah.
and Olympiakos, I want us to just go there and just get a 4-0 win, get it done with. I don't want any issue of, Olympiakos beat us last season or something like that. We are Arsenal, they are Olympiakos. Fine, they upset us last season, but we should trash them next week.
Boy, I love that. And I'm going to go with that as well. We're going to beat Burnley 2-0. And then I want us, and I think we're going to do it. I think Arteta's going to go with a mindset. We've got Spurs coming up after that. I think he's going to go in and he's going to try and just destroy them first leg and put it to bed. So I'm going to go 3-0 away to Olympiakos and 2-0 away to Burnley. And that's where I'm going to leave it. I know I'm being stupid. I've gone back to positivity. African, it's your fault this time. I held myself back for a few months. You've come in and you've opened the door, and that's it. I'm positive again.
You know what? Let me say this. I've opened the door because the team has finally given us a little bit of reason to open that door, right? And that's what we want as fans, really. We want you to open that door for us. We want to have hope. We want to see our team, excel. So that's why I'm a little bit more positive, because I'm seeing more.
I'm happy. I'm happy that you're positive. We're all seeing positive. So, guys, just going to say goodbye to a few people in the chat. Maury Memento, great show tonight. He's enjoyed the new format, Lev. Bruv, listen, Maury, get on the show next week. I'm going to drop the link. Come on. You're always here. Any of you guys, Topher, who's come up with some great points today. I need this guy to be my stock advisor. That's about you, by the way, Theo, yeah? Because you're so assured he wants you to be his stockbroker. That's what he's saying. Umar is saying 3-1 versus Olympiakos, Aubameyang 2 and Pepe 1. He's been very specific. Put that on your bets. Umar is giving you tips there. Mori Memento 2-1 in Greece. And Colin is Adi saying 4-1 to us. So, guys, I'm seeing some positivity here. So, you know what? I'm going to leave us on a positive note this Friday. I'm very happy to be back. We're going to be doing this every Friday, so keep an eye out for it. We've also got shows coming up on Wednesday. I think we've got lead judges with Harry Simeo next week, by the way. So we've got a lot more shows coming up, guys, so keep in touch with us. If you've got any ideas, DM me. If you want any subject matters covered, DM us, let us know. And that's it, really. Maury's saying, I don't have a head or a body. I'm just a stupid thought bot, Lev. Sounds about right. So on that happy note, I'm going to let everyone go and enjoy the rest of the weekend. Thank you, Enrico. Pleasure having you.
Thank you.
Seb, good to see you again. Theo, loving your... Mate, you just say it how it is, bro. You don't mess around, yeah? And African, glad to have you back, brother. And I hope to see you again next week. So that's us for tonight. This is Arsenal Lounge. I'm Lavanja. And I'm about to say goodnight to all of you guys. So peace out.
Ciao.